welcome back to the WJCU Sports Football Pregame Show. My name is Nikolena Samac, and I am joined here with sophomore cornerback Dylan Crasi. Dylan, how are you feeling today? We're super excited to have you for this interview.
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. So let's get rolling right into the questions. This season was full of change. John Carroll transitioned from the OAC to the NCAC. Although you have just played one season in each conference, were there any noticeable changes between your 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the schedule. Obviously, we're traveling a bit more this year, right? So with that comes a lot more time on the road, but with that also comes a lot of time spent with my teammates. So one thing noticeably different is just the amount of time I'm spending with my teammates on the road. But I feel like it's, besides all the local matchups, you see the BW matchup we always love to have, obviously Mount Union. But I think building these new kind of rivalries and going to these different places has been fun for me. So I got a little taste of it last year, and then I get this year to see this new conference.
Yeah, I know, obviously with a couple schools being in Indiana, those trips can definitely be long, but
Right.
it is really great bonding time. You get, time in the hotel on the bus ride there and back. It's a fun environment.
Absolutely, yeah.
So at the end of the regular season, as we are heading into playoffs now, you've recorded 16 tackles with 1.5 for loss and 4 pass breakups. How has it been making such an impact on the field in just your second year on the team?
Yeah, it's been good. I feel like I'm starting to get pretty comfortable in our defense. And last year, getting thrown in as a true freshman, it was awesome. But definitely looking back on some of the film last year, I had some sloppy technique at points. And this year, kind of been able to sit back. I do have a new position coach, Coach Dean. Shout out to you. But I feel like he's been great, very technical, and he's been getting us right every day and very critical, which is great. And I love a critical coach who can point out things that we don't see on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's great, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And we talk about the defense a lot on the broadcast. It's definitely a different team this year. You guys always look fantastic. Would you say, what are some specific ways that your game has grown from last season to where you are now?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think my technique has improved so much, and I'm so much more patient looking back at last year's film to this year. I think patience as a corner is so critical, and I think being a patient corner as a receiver, I played receiver in high school too. You hated playing patient corners.
Oh, yeah.
So, kind of having a little bit of experience at receiver, it really is annoying to be patient as a corner. So I think that's kind of my biggest improvement in my game is my patience.
I think that's definitely a really cool perspective, is seeing it from both sides.
Absolutely,
And it has to really help with going a strategy into the game. You kind of know what to expect from the receivers, having been one yourself. So in the 2 games against Denison and DePaul, which were 2 of kind of the most anticipated matchups of the season, they were your busiest games with 5 tackles and 3 pass breakups between the 2. What kind of clicked for you in those high-intensity matchups that meant a lot this season?
Absolutely. Starting with DePaul, I think it just came down to practice. I think we had a great week of practice and preparation. We knew who their go-to guys were and kind of the concepts that they brought. So being able to rep that so much in practice, I think it just kind of rolled over into the game pretty well. And we were ready, all of us, me, Jacob, Josh Jones, who you've interviewed before.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it came down to practice. And then in the Denison game, we were ready for him to pass quite a bit, but not at the rate that they passed. I mean, every single play they were passing the ball. So it was definitely a busy game, and it was a fun one too for us. It was any busy game's a fun one.
Yeah,
so.
It was a really fun game. And Joe Ginley invited me to come watch the selection show, just, with the travel implications. And
Absolutely.
when Coach Behrman had said, Denison did not run the ball a single time, my jaw kind of hit the floor. I didn't even though I was at that game, I didn't even realize
Right.
they did not hit the ground the entire game.
Yep. So one more thing to add to that. We on film, they actually did not they ran the ball, and they ran kind of a normal offense in the first half of games, and then you'd see them start to slack in the second half, and then that's when they opened up with their empty packages and just throwing the ball wherever they can get it. So we were expecting that later in the game, but seeing that from first quarter to the fourth quarter, it was like, what the heck? Like, and it was a little bit of a curveball. We struggled at first, but once we settled in, I think we played really, really good. So
I completely agree. And I mean, we were mentioning that as well. We kind of noticed like the defense looked a little thrown off in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Definitely compared to other games where everything was very poised, very controlled. So this year's secondary defense has consistently been keeping opponents' passing attacks pretty much in check. How would you describe the connection and confidence in this year's defense heading into playoffs?
Yeah, I think it starts with your chemistry, and I've been here for 2 years, but going from last year to this year, I think our chemistry has been so much greater. We are so much more tightly knit than we were last year, and I think that shows on the field. Our secondary, especially, we're all best friends, so it's definitely helpful being on the field with your best friends. So I think that carries over and that shows. And when we can communicate at an elite level, we play at an elite level. So absolutely communication.
Yeah, we've had a couple players say that same thing, and it absolutely shows on the field, and it's been really cool to hear from a fan's perspective. And, you kind of touched a little bit on this earlier, but as a corner, you do have to stay mentally sharp for the entire game and fight through passes, runs, and whatever the offense inevitably is going to throw at you. How do you maintain focus during all 4 quarters to perform the best you can?
Yeah, that's something that especially this week with Randolph-Macon, I got to be very, very prepared for. So this team is about 70% run. So with that little 30% pass, which they don't do often, completely different from last week, it just means I got to be that much mentally sharper as a corner. I mean, I have to be ready for those deep shots, which they take. I have to be ready for double moves, which they take. And it just makes it that much more difficult as a corner, knowing how much they run, to be ready for them to throw something behind me. So taking care of the run and the pass, and I've been known as a very aggressive corner in the past. And once I came to college, I kind of had to change that up a little bit because some things just don't work. But I think just, like I said, being patient and knowing when to make the right decision.
Yeah, so we did interview you last season, and I was beating myself up for this because I missed something absolutely crazy in your football journey. A couple years ago, you had a really insane viral football moment in high school. Can you just tell us a little bit about that story and that, how cool that was for you?
Yeah, my teammates are going to make fun of me for bringing this up. I try not to, and they like bringing it up, but yeah, that was awesome. My senior year, it was the game before the conference championship, so this team was very good. We were battling out the entire game, and in the fourth quarter, I think there was maybe a minute to go. They recovered an onside kick, and so they got the ball in the red zone, and I believe it was second or third down, and they've been throwing shots all game. They ran a double move and threw to the corner of the end zone, and I kind of went viral because I had a one-handed interception. So I think that night one of my coaches sent that into Sports Center, and it actually aired at like 3 a.m. And I remember waking up, and my phone had about 100,000 notifications. I got woken up just from the buzz of my phone going crazy. So that was awesome. Like, it really was a cool moment in my football journey. And it led to a conference championship win the next week, which was even better for our program. But even then, I think that just made a lot of me who I am. I like to make big plays and big moments, and I think always in those big games, I always see myself play better. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, I talked to a ton of different people, players, coaches, admin, the whole board of John Carroll,
Yep.
about what playoffs were going to look like this year, especially in the first 2 or 3 weeks. And Randolph-Macon was not a name that was ever brought up in those conversations. How is the team kind of dealing with the unfamiliarity going into this game, and what was the reaction during the selection show?
So I'm gonna be honest. I've never heard of Randolph-Macon. I did find out shortly after we saw their name pop up on the bracket that they did beat us at home in 2018.
Interesting.
So obviously we don't want to repeat the past.
Yep.
But there is some familiarity there. They have been a program to come in here and beat us. So that's something that we're keeping in the back of our minds. And even though we're not familiar with the program, the film shows a lot. So preparing is like preparing for any other week. We don't need to have played them in the past or whatever, but they're a great football team, and we're expecting a great football game. So.
And, final kind of wrap up for the football questions before we head into some of the fun questions in this interview. As we are in the final year with many of our key players who are graduating or running out of eligibility, how has this impacted the team's drive to go as far into playoffs as possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think our senior leadership on the team has been massive. We have, I don't know the exact number of senior starting defense, but I mean, most of our starting defense is seniors, and the leadership there has been fantastic. I think their impact is always huge, and being a guy that is backing them up in the future, it's going to be tough to fill some of their shoes. But I think being a younger guy and watching them go through their everyday motions and in practice, I think they made a big impact on those younger guys.
For sure. So as we wrap up the football questions, I want to ask you just 3 kind of fun questions so the listeners can kind of get to know your personality off of the football field.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of football, what sport do you think or wish that you could go pro in?
That's tough. I've never been a good baseball player. Played second base. I was good in grade school, and then started to grow older. Everyone started to move past me pretty quickly. Basketball, I think basketball would be awesome, right? I mean, they get paid.
Oh, of course.
I think they get paid more than NFL players, like multiple more millions a year. But I think that'd be awesome. It's a similar atmosphere, right? But I just think that'd be awesome.
I think the pace of basketball makes it so much fun. People always ask us here, do you prefer to call football or basketball? Like, which one do you like better? And there's literally not an answer.
Right.
Like, the atmospheres are very similar, but the pace is so much different. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So at any level of football, which team has your favorite jerseys?
Ooh, I've always been a huge jersey guy. So the Oregon Ducks growing up, I loved buying their jerseys. I remember I bought a pink and black jersey. It was what their breast cancer awareness jersey, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I think I was in maybe grade school, but Oregon Ducks have always been some of my favorite jerseys. Obviously, they're right there in Eugene, which is where Nike headquarters is, so they get all the fancy stuff. Ohio State's black jerseys are awesome. I'll go with one more being, honestly, the whole color rush. You're probably not going to know this, but in 2016, the NFL came out with this color rush jersey theme, and every NFL team had their own color rush jersey.
Ooh.
And I just thought they were the coolest thing ever at the time, because you don't really see those fancy, luminescent jerseys in the NFL anymore.
No, not at all. That is very cool. I'll definitely have to look that up later for sure.
Yeah.
And then the final question for this interview, who on the team has your favorite celebration, and can you describe it?
Ooh. So us defensive guys don't always get to celebrate much. I have a few that I have in my archive, but I don't really pull them out too often. I don't like to celebrate. But really the offense is where we'll see more of the celebrations, obviously. I think Nemo, Ty and Nemo, really, I've seen a lot of good handshakes and celebrations. Obviously, they're ones to score a lot, so you'll see a lot of different combinations. But me and Josh Jones do have a great handshake that we made earlier in the year. Obviously, it sucks having Josh out now.
Yeah.
So, and I could go on and on about Josh, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great interview with him earlier this season, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing him back on the field next year for sure.
Yeah.
But that does wrap up the final question of this interview. Thank you very much for coming out and talking with us today. In just a few short moments, we'll be tossing it over to myself and Nick Colbert, who will be on the call for the John Carroll matchup against Randolph-Macon in the second round of the NCAA playoffs. So stay tuned right here on your radio home for Blue Streak Athletics, WJCU 88.7.